Welcome to Kathy's Eclectic Garden. I'm Kathy and I garden in Zone 5B6A in Northwest Ohio. Do you have an area in your garden that nothing seems to grow? You've tried to grow flowers, you've tried to grow shrubs, you've tried to grow vegetables, and nothing seems to thrive in that particular area. Well, you might want to look up. This video may be a bit long today because I have a lot I want to share with you about how you can deal with the allelopathic properties of the black walnut tree in your garden and how I'm coping with it. In my case, the black walnut tree you see here belongs to my neighbor, so there's nothing I can do about getting rid of the tree. First, let's talk a little bit about the black walnut tree itself. The black walnut, Juglone nigra, is one of 6 species which are native to the United States and grows in the eastern, midwestern, and Great Plains regions. Black walnut is the tallest of the native walnuts. The crown or canopy height can reach 35 to 70 feet with a spread of up to 70 feet. The tree grows in zones 4 to 9. As with all trees, the distance the roots grow outward from a black walnut tree can be 2 to 4 times the distance from the tree's canopy. Allelochemicals, in this case juglone, inhibits growth in neighboring plants. Systems of allelopathic effects include leaf wilting and yellowing, stunted or slow growth, less production of fruits and flowers, and/or death of part or all of the plant. Many resources suggest juglone can be found in tree leaves, roots, and nut casings. The production of juglone is a protective response by the plant to assure its survival. Juglone remains in the soil around the tree and is most potent at the drip line to the trunk. After reading numerous articles, some say juglone can remain in the soil from 3 to 10 years after a tree is cut down. So take your pick. However, still other studies indicate that the breakdown of juglone may take up to only 2 months in the soil. The bacteria known as Pseudomonas putida J1 was found to break down juglone rapidly if the soil was aerated. I prefer to err on the side of caution when planting in the vicinity of a black walnut tree and assume all parts of the black walnut tree contain juglone. Aside from walnuts simply falling onto the ground directly below the tree, pesky squirrels are the best gardeners for spreading and planting walnuts. On an annual basis, I have to keep a watch out for young walnut tree seedlings sprouting up all over my garden and yard. Among the numerous places squirrels plant walnuts are on my deck railing, arbors, garden chairs, inside bushes, and vegetable planters, and many other places. Now I want to share with you my situation. Here is the general layout of my backyard garden with the neighbor's walnut tree in the upper right-hand corner. The red line marks the approximate area affected by the juglone. The blue line designates the property line and shows the tree canopy growing over my property. The area in the green circle are native plants that do not seem to be affected by the juglone. The areas highlighted in red are the areas where I have experienced the most difficulty growing plants. This area has non-tolerant native plants that have grown very slowly. The native shrubs in this area are barrier plants. There are 3 viburnums and a spice bush. If you plan on growing a garden around a walnut tree, plant species that are tolerant to juglone. In my case, I have planted what is termed as barrier species. The theory of establishing a barrier species, as I understand it, is the barrier species roots interfere with the black walnut tree roots and force the tree roots away from the plants that are less tolerant of juglone. I will provide links below to some plant lists of juglone tolerant and non-tolerant plants. The lists for tolerant plants are much longer than the non-tolerant plants. Here are some ways to reduce the effects of juglone. Regularly clean up all leaves and fruit from the black walnut tree. Do not use any part of the walnut tree as compost or mulch for other plants. Maintain high organic matter levels in the soil because organic matter encourages healthy soil microbial populations that can metabolize juglone toxins. Any vegetables I grow are all in pots and raised beds. The following video clips are from a community garden video I did about 2 years ago. These clips give you an idea of some of the ways you can avoid planting in the ground and thus avoid black walnut tree juglone. At all of our community gardens, we have built raised beds to garden in. These are built from lumber, and they are 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. And that's kind of a typical size for a raised bed, but they can be any size you want, any shape you want. One of the advantages of having the 4 foot by 8 foot is that you can reach into the middle of the garden without having to step into the garden bed. Next, we'll talk about containers, and these are small containers. I grow lettuce in these. I can plant 2 or 3 of them and wait a couple of weeks and plant a couple more and plant a couple of weeks and make a couple more, and I have continuous lettuce all summer. This is a small elevated raised bed. I purchased this at one of the local farm stores. It is about 3.5 feet tall and 3 feet wide and about 1.5 feet deep. And I bought it with the intention of planting herbs in it, and I decided it was a good spot this year to plant my carrots. So I've got carrots in there. I had peas in one end early in the spring, they're done, and I've got lettuce in the other end. But these make nice beds if you don't have much room for a garden. Another way to grow your garden is vertically, and this little vertical planter is 5 layers deep. And you can find these or versions of these just about anywhere. Some dollar stores have them, big box stores have them. I bought this to grow herbs in, and I've got herbs growing in it. I've got basil, flowers growing. I got a couple of peppers, and I've grown quite a bit of lettuce in it. Another way to grow vertically is with a green stalk vertical planter. There's 6 pockets in a row. You just fill it with potting soil and plant your seeds or your plants. This is another raised bed option. I really like this particular raised bed because it's right at gardening level for me. It is about 4 feet tall, maybe 3.5 feet tall. It's 6 feet long and 2 feet wide. I have a frame that came with it that has a plastic cover with a zipper on it that you can open up when it gets too hot. You can also use this frame to put netting over your plants to keep bugs off. And that would have made my cabbage look a lot better than what it looks right now. My preferred method for growing tomatoes is in pots, big pots like this. Every year I buy a couple more, and I think I've about gone to my limit because I'm going to be giving tomatoes away this year, it looks like. They come in different sizes. And the final way I want to show you to grow plants is in a greenhouse. Now, my greenhouse is one of the portable ones, and I do not use it to grow year-round because it would have to be heated in the wintertime, and it gets really hot in here in the summertime, even with all the windows and the door open. So I use this in the late winter, early spring to harden off my plants that I've started indoors. Please let me know down below if you have any questions, comments, or ideas on how you defeat juglone when growing near a black walnut tree. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe picked up a few ideas to avoid growing near a walnut tree. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.